Okay, thank you for joining us today. This is Elli's mentor discussion, and what I wanted to do is talk about electricity, electrical work, being an electrician. I have today with me Roy Smith, who is a highly seasoned professional in our local area. He's recognized nationally from his content he's done in education. And I'm going to have Roy talk a little bit about a little bit of his background, and then we're going to talk about the importance of education and learning for any of our trades as it relates to landscape lighting or any of the trades. Roy initially started as an apprentice in 1967. And then he graduated into a journeyman level in 1971. Is that correct?
1971. Mm-hmm.
And then from there, he's done multiple things, running his own business, working in the trades at foreman level, and then also a vice president of company. And I'll kind of let you kind of take it from here, but I'm interested to hear a little bit how that transition, where you got into the education side of things with ITAP, and what is ITAP. So let's go ahead and I'll let you pick it up from here.
Well, as you can tell, I'm not brand new, and I have done some stuff. Mark talked about my apprenticeship. Prior to that, I had military experience, spent 4 years in the Air Force, moved to Anchorage, Alaska, served a carpenter apprenticeship, 1281 Anchorage, and then became an electrician in 1967.
Wow.
Graduating in 71. So I've been around the horn with things to do, and education has been a big part of that.
Good.
All of the education that I procured over the years kind of helped with everything that I did in the endeavor of working. Worked as a vice president for Nutter Electric for several years, retired in 2021. Then went to work at developing an apprenticeship school, ITAP, worked there for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Left there and became an estimator for Berg Electric for 7 years. Quit them and went to work for another contractor for 5 years, and so on and so forth, till we're here today.
Wow.
It's been a long trap, and all been good.
That's good.
And it's been fun.
What is ITAP?
ITAP's an apprenticeship school that's federally approved for electrical apprentices.
Okay.
ITAP started out as a trainee program for the electrical apprentices that have not served an apprenticeship. But then they became certified for educational purposes as an approved government apprenticeship program.
Okay. You know, it's interesting. I was thinking about this, that our trade, landscape lighting design, it's the Wild West, and there's no, we have no apprenticeship programs in place, anything like that. Do you believe that that is a problem because we're still dealing with electricity? You know, and what's your take on that? Should we be focused on something like that as a profession?
I think that it's imperative that someone helps twofold, employer and employee.
Mm-hmm.
An employer, if you have no established training program, doesn't have any qualifications of knowing what he's getting when he hires someone.
Mm-hmm.
If he had some background or is enrolled in a class or has completed a class, well, at least it's a known quantity to the employer. The second phase of that is the employee. You're rated among your peers, and you're only as valuable as your status in your peers. And if you're not at the top of the echelon, well, it has to do with pay value.
Sure.
And when you have something to offer someone, well, then you have a basis for money and employment financially, which goes in your pocket. So now you become not only of value to yourself, but your employer. And I think that it's imperative that you set up some kind of trainee program for the person and for the employer.
Sure, sure. Well, what's your take on electricity, generally speaking? Because everybody says, oh, low voltage is safe, anybody can work with it, there's no problem. DIYers, homeowners, they're all playing with it, but I know the realities are that it can be dangerous if it's not, you know, respected.
Any type of electric, whether you're talking about a car battery or you're talking about 12,000 volts, has a potential of injury. And if you look at the statistics of electrical injury happens in the first year of exposure and the last 5 years. I'm talking 60 to 65 years old. So first year and last 5.
Wow.
The first year is because you're ignorant.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're playing with. Electricity will kill you.
Yep.
And to safeguard that is imperative. Second portion of that, 60 to 65, you're too smart for your own good.
Yeah.
And you'd make shortcuts thinking you have a handle on it.
Sure.
Electricity is blind, and you're blind to it. So if you don't respect it, it will get you.
Sure, sure. Can you talk a little bit about what, because we're talking about electricity here, you know, I think the reason why a lot of the guys think it doesn't impact us or it's safe, you know, because it's 12 volts, but then your current is much higher on a 12 volt system versus a 120 volt, right? Because of Ohm's law, you know, that it's a 10 to 1 like type of ratio.
Yes, it is.
So
well, the biggest problem that low voltage people neglect or don't talk about is, where did that 12 volts or 24 volts come from?
Oh, yeah.
It comes from a transformer.
Yeah.
How did you get power to that transformer? You had to work with higher voltage than 12 or 24 volts to get there.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing that, what are the requirements for that transformer? What do you have to do? Depending on the class of transformer, a transformer is a newly derived system. If you don't know how you got power there, then you don't know how you're grounded, and you don't know how you protected that transformer. And that's all imperative to your knowledge. And there again, we go back to schooling.
There you go. Perfect. Can you talk a little bit about the 120 volt side? Like most of our guys are just plugging in transformers right at those receptacle outlets, and or hardwiring in. I mean, what are some of the things that maybe you've seen or haven't seen, well, seen, related towards potential problems with that?
The biggest thing that I have seen is when they make that transition, it's not enclosed, it's open, and both voltages are exposed. So if the transformer is not in a box or a transition made from the 12 volt to AC voltage in an enclosure, it's wrong. It has to be protected. And I think that that's the most critical aspect of the transition.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about, is there a way to test or check the transformer to, you know, how do you determine whether it's grounded properly, or if the incoming voltage, I mean, by using certain meters, or is there, I mean, you know, I know they have those plug-in little testers that you can use to see if there's a...
Mark, it's funny you say that. I call those widow makers. They have a little stick that you can stick on stuff
Right.
to see if it's hot. Trust no one.
Yeah.
Don't trust that little stick. They have a meter that you can buy for less than $30
Uh-huh.
that is a voltmeter,
Yeah.
and it has 2 probes on it.
Yeah.
And you can go from hot to neutral, or neutral to ground, or hot to ground to verify a circuit. And if you put the 2 pins together, it registers, you know whether it's working or not. I tell people all the time when I was in the apprenticeship school, trust no one.
Yeah.
Trust no one. I have been blown up myself in a jewelry case that cost $13,000 to remove, getting hit with 277 volts and raising up and breaking glass and spreading stuff all over the place because I trusted a foreman that told me there was no power to that section. And I had a meter in my pouch.
Yeah.
And I did not check the voltage. And he was absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
There was voltage.
Yeah.
And that was a $13,000 jewelry case that I messed up.
Yeah.
Sitting up trying to get away from the electricity.
Yep.
So trust no one. Trust your tester after you've tested your tester.
Yep.
I tell the kids, don't trust your mama. Don't trust me. Don't trust your foreman. Trust the meter that you've checked.
Yeah. We had a situation, I worked with a colleague of mine, and we got a great job down in Costa Rica, of all places. And we had the on-site so-called electrician that was doing the whole property, set up all of our power for us, for our transformers, our low voltage transformers. And, you know, it's supposed to be 120. And we get there, and there was 2 areas where he fed 240 to it. And when we got out there, we didn't check, we didn't test. Perfect example right there. And we ended up, it blew out the 2 transformers, and here we are out of country. Yes. How do you get new products in and all that? Fortunately, we were able to do it while we were on site. We had a means to make it happen, but a perfect example right there. You get lazy and you think, oh, no, it's fine, I trust, you know.
You're never too experienced to take an assumption.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
That's why first year, last 5.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Well, thank you for spending time talking about safety and the information about being educated. Do you have any final thoughts about education and where you would like to see it go, well, even with our trade?
Just as an overview, I can see where a 2-year course is almost mandatory to make the trade grow.
Oh.
The fact that the advantage to the student, all young people coming up, wanting to get into the trade, wanting to do something, need to understand how important it is to educate themselves, because they're only as valuable as what their knowledge base is.
Yeah.
And if they do not understand low voltage lighting, if they don't understand the application or the installation, the way you gain that knowledge is not only by doing it, by knowing it.
Yeah.
And knowing it's far different than doing it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of companies, that's where they tend to fail. They may take them out with their team and teach them on site, but they're not gaining that knowledge side of it. And a lot of the organizations, associations, they're not teaching these things like they should be.
The theory is important as the application.
Yep. Excellent. Thank you for your time.
You bet.
We're going to have another couple things that we're going to talk about in a few minutes.
Good.
But
See you then.
thank you.